Hi everyone, welcome to TV Junkie Reviews. Today I shall be reviewing Fear the Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 2. I personally like this episode. I think it carries on what was being done in the first episode. Um, just so you know, there will be spoilers with this review, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, I suggest you watch it first and then come back. I personally thought that was quite a Madison-centric episode. Obviously, there's some character developments for the other characters, but it felt mostly for Madison. And I liked the way they kind of ended the episode. Um, I'll try and get to that later. So we start off with Alicia going to her boyfriend's house, Matt, and after the initial intro, you kind of think that she might have been attacked. But obviously, you find out after Travis and Madison call her that he's just apparently ill. But we all know that he's pretty much a goner. Um, so she's looking after him, and Travis and Madison try and find out where she is and try and go to get her. So if you remember from last episode, Nick, Madison, and Travis had to basically Nick killed Cal after a little confrontation between the two, and Cal became a walker, and so Nick had to kill him by running him over repeatedly because he kept getting back up over and over to that horror. Remember, obviously, this is when the apocalypse started, like zombie apocalypse started, so they're not used to this sort of thing yet. So yeah, they try to find Alicia so they can get together and get to safety. So once they get there, they try and convince her to come with them, and obviously, um, so upon close inspection of Matt, you see that he's actually been bitten, so you definitely know he's going to turn into a walker. One thing that's quite disappointed by the scene is the fact that they did not show him become a walker. At first, I was quite disappointed, but after some hindsight, I thought about it, and you never know, they might come back to the next episode and show that he's become a walker, and hopefully it will be a scene where it shows Alicia actually seeing a walker for the first time, and so they can begin to show her transformation. Because as I mentioned before in a previous review, that the actress who plays Alicia also starred in The 100, and in that she was quite a strong female character. She's very strong. She was sort of like the leader of the bad guys. I'm gonna show a picture of her on screen now. So yeah, she can. I think she can pull it off if they want to like bring her in that direction, and I think she can do it well. Almost sort of like a really hardcore character, which is kind of what I'm thinking that Madison will eventually turn into, sort of like a Rick style character. Um, so yeah, obviously they try to convince Alicia to go. Travis and Madison try to convince Alicia to go with them, and her boyfriend obviously eventually knows what they're trying to do, and he probably understands that he's a gunner as well. So he tells her to go with them, and that his parents will be back soon, and he'll be okay. Uh, so then, moving on. What also happens in this episode is Nick begins to get withdrawals because he's been away from drugs for too long. So Madison decides to go off to get something to help him temporarily, so that he can make it to wherever they're going first, and then they can try and figure things out later. So Madison leaves. Travis goes off to find his family, his son Chris, and his ex-wife Liza. So that leaves Alicia and Nick together. Obviously, Alicia tries to leave again to find her boyfriend Matt, but this is where I think a nice bit of character development comes in. So Nick tries to stop Alicia from leaving the house because he knows if she goes out there, she might come into a walker and then she might get attacked. So in this moment of desperation, he claims to pretend to choke on his own vomit, um, and obviously Alicia's already out the door, but she hears him and she goes back in to help him. So it's a nice bit of character development showing that the love they have for each other as brother and sister. So obviously, hearing that Nick's in trouble, she goes back. She goes back inside to help him, and she gives up her boyfriend for her brother. Much to her, much to her despair, if I recall, she says that she hates him afterwards, after Nick's kind of recovered. So that's a nice bit of character development between the two. Shows the bonds between brother and sister. So then we go to Travis, who yeah, he's gone to find his son, well, mainly his son Chris, and obviously Liza has to come along because Chris is living with her. So Chris has basically gone off. He's gone to town, and along the way, apparently policemen have shot dead a homeless person. We know this homeless person is probably a walker. So it turns into like a full stage. So it turns into a protest because people have seen this. They don't know that he's become a walker. The homeless man's a walker. So they're just angry that the policemen have shot dead this homeless man. So he begins to. This is the part that I thought was weird. What teenager carries around a video recorder these days? They would at least get out their phones and start shooting a video from their phone instead of an actual video camera. So I thought that was a bit strange. But yeah, one of the people confronts the policeman, and Chris films it, and it escalates basically. And then Travis and Liza arrive to try and get Chris. You see a shot where the homeless person has something covering them, but you see a bit of their face, and you kind of think, we're hoping that this homeless person will begin to reanimate as a walker and bite someone, and then everyone panics and runs away. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. So I felt let down by that as well. But eventually, you do see a walker when basically a walker comes over, and the policewoman shoots the walker down, and then everything escalates even more and becomes a full-blown riot. As I said, I was quite disappointed that it wasn't a homeless man that became a walker, because that would be so much better. At least it would show that there's some sort of biting. Then at least Chris can see what's happening and begin to realise that things are not going too well. So it becomes a full-scale riot, and Travis, Liza, and Chris run away, and they take refuge in a barber shop, which is owned by the Salazars. So the Salazars are also main characters in this series. So you have Ophelia, who is the daughter, and her father. He seems a bit grumpy and a bit of a grouch. You also have their mother, but I think she's a secondary character. So either we don't see a lot of her, or she eventually becomes walker bait. And I think she will become walker bait, as I'm not sure what they'll do with her character, so they'll probably try and kill her off quite quickly. So yeah, Ophelia's father seems quite a bit of a grouch, because he was quite reluctant to take them in, but understandably, because he doesn't know these people. They could be troublemakers for all he knows. But Ophelia lets them in, and they take refuge there, and eventually they leave together, probably to meet up with Madison and the others, or at least get out of the city. Because I think Travis and Madison plan to go to the desert, where there's fewer people. Probably not a good idea, because you obviously need supplies, and in the desert you probably won't find that much. And then onto Madison, the main bit of the review, I reckon. So Madison goes off to the school to help Nick, to get some drugs for Nick to help him save him from withdrawals. So she goes back to the school, and there's someone following her. You don't know whether it's a person or a walker. And you eventually find out it's actually Tobias, the nerdy kid from the previous episode who predicted the zombie apocalypse. And he's come back to basically get his knife. It's quite funny in the scene because he just pops up and he goes like, "Can I have my knife back now?" And obviously she, seeing what's going on, she, realizes that he's right and gives back his knife. and they together go and get supplies. Well, mainly Tobias. Madison sort of turns down the offer for supplies because she's like, "Oh, we've got some bad choice, Madison. You definitely need more supplies because this isn't going to go away anytime soon." Um, so as they're leaving, they come across the principal or the headmaster if you're in the UK, and he's become a walker, which is a bit surprising because you don't really see much. You see him in the beginning of the episode, but he looks okay. So you don't know when he actually gets bitten. He attacks Madison, and Tobias comes to help him, and Tobias ends up in trouble. So Madison, in desperation, grabs a fire extinguisher and beats the hell out of the principal. Literally caves his head in and destroys. This is the first time we see a walker kind of, well, properly being disposed, I guess. Technically, you could count the shooting at the in town with Chris sort of away, but this is where we see like an ordinary kill. So, in a very horrific but cool scene, she basically bashes his head in. So we see kind of a darker side of Madison. She does what she needs to get things done. So this is where I think she would turn into sort of like a Rick character. She's probably further down the line than Carol from the main series Walking Dead. She obviously wasn't abused by her husband, so she doesn't have low self-esteem. But we see that she does, she is capable of doing what she needs to, and isn't afraid to. Well, at least not externally. Internally, she seems quite distraught as when she returns home, she cries as what she had to do, because she has blood on her, and she tries to wash the stain out. So yeah, after that, Tobias and Madison part ways. Madison offers Tobias, some offers space with them. Obviously a kid on his own probably isn't going to do very well, so but he turns her down. Hopefully he's in the know and he knows what he's doing. Um, so yeah, Madison, when she gets home, she gets questioned by Alicia. What took her so long, and she locks herself in the bathroom and cries, understandably, and tries to get a hold of Travis to find out where he is. So Travis and his family and the Salazars are leaving in their truck, and they come across a hospital and they see the police take down a patient. So it does look like the patient is a walker, and it looks like the hospital has basically been taken over or something. And then right at the end, another nice bit of development for Madison's character. So earlier on in the episode, you see that um, one of the neighbors is sick and begins coughing. So you kind of begin to think that maybe this guy will turn into a walker, and then you also see across the street is a neighbors having a children's birthday party. Uh, so you kind of I like this. I like it in that they leave clues, but you actually don't know if it will turn into anything. This is where it pays off because right at the end, the neighbor that was coughing has turned into a walker by night time, and he goes over to the neighbor across the street. Obviously, the birthday party's over, and he attacks the woman, the mother, I assume, and the woman's screaming, and you can hear Madison and Alicia hear it in their house, and Alicia goes outside to try and attempt to go outside to try and help her, but Madison, knowing that this woman is being attacked by a walker, stops Alicia from running outside the house, and Alicia's like, what are you doing?" And it's like, I don't know if you've ever played the Walking Dead video game. You have to make hard choices. You have two people. One of them's going to die. One of them's not. You have to make a choice between one of them. Uh, from your choice, you know that you are going to upset someone, like the family of the person who's either going to die or the family of the person who's going to live. So you're going to upset one of them, one of the people. It's one of those things you make hard choices. Obviously, Madison knows that if Alicia goes outside, she will probably be in danger, so she makes her decision. She would rather give up her neighbor for her child. So it's nice about development, seeing again, she's willing to give up like a bit of her humanity just to save her daughter. And you're probably thinking, why would she do that? But come, if it was your decision, what would you do? So, tough choices there, and Madison's made her choice. So that's it for this episode. I quite like it. I'm quite excited to see what happens next episode. I hope that they develop Alicia's character more. Hopefully, she sees an actual walker and sees what they can do, and so they can begin their transformation into what her character was like in the 100. Even maybe not even exactly like her, but closer. Where she's more darker and more aware of what's going on, and more violent scenes. I guess it'd be cool to see her actually, do some fighting. A little theory of mine is that I see like maybe Madison and Travis's relationship maybe breaking down, or see a test of their love. Because I predict that Madison would turn into a Rick kind of character, and maybe Travis. I reckon Travis would turn into a Morgan kind of character. So in the current series, where they're at now, Rick is a little bit crazy and does whatever the hell he wants. Morgan's on the opposite end. He's not so crazy anymore. And they'll have like a conflict of opinions, and I think that was form a main arc in the series where they're going at each other, and I think Madison and Travis will eventually turn into that relationship where their conflict of opinions will sort of test their relationship, and you never know, Travis might even stray, because I think there might be something might happen between him and Ophelia, and nothing has been suggested from this episode, but that's just my theory and predictions. So he may even stray, he might not, or he might be tempted to, or Ophelia might develop a crush on Travis. You never know. But I think it will turn into that where Travis and Madison will conflict. So we'll see what happens. Um, if you're still watching, thank you very much. I hope. Thank you for watching. Um, please subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel and see more of my videos. By now, I think the outro, I call the outro, would have appeared. So if you haven't seen my review for episode 1 of Fear the Walking Dead, you can click the link on screen now. You can also see the Flash trailer, which is my latest video, or the first Flash teaser trailer. So you watch that, so you can watch that as well. So goodbye for now. See you next time.